So glad you're with us on the Clark Howard Show, where it's about you learning ways to save more and spend less. And don't let anybody ever rip you off. Speaking of rip-offs, coming up in just 20 minutes in today's Clarkrageous Moment, yet another warning about something that's so heavily advertised on TV, reverse mortgages. And coming up in a half hour, I have something you need to know about your homeowner's insurance. It's something that's come up on our show several times. I have a very important warning for you on when you should and shouldn't make a claim on homeowners. I want to talk right now about something that has gone through a dramatic change. Shaving. Yeah, that's right, shaving. Not because people have followed my advice and dry their razor after each use and use a blade month after month. How smooth do I look right now? My shaving looks good on your radio dial, right? Yeah, smooth as silk. Using the same razor I've used for months and months and months. But this isn't about that. It isn't about the fact that moisture is what makes your blade degrade. It's like, what blade do you buy in the first place? Well, in America, just about everybody shaved with blades from only one company, Gillette. And I said that past tense because now Gillette's market share is going down, down, down it goes because new, smarter, more innovative players have come into the razor business. And one of them, Dollar Shave Club, which I've been asked about over the years, has just been sold for $1 gazillion because they are doing so well with their method where you pay them a subscription fee and you choose how fancy a razor you want, and they just send them to you. So you get a month's supply of razors by subscription. Although if you do my method, you need just 1 month's supply. I'll carry you for 2 years. Just trying the blade. But anyway, at all ends of the market, razor blades are going very specialized because the Gillette thing was a lot like Soviet state planning in the old USSR, that you shaved with whatever blade Gillette had developed and spent a fortune developing. And that was their whole thing, is you bought the new handle and you used that blade, blah, 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 blah. Well, now you've got massive choice. Choice along the price spectrum and specialty. Probably have heard of Harry's, seen Harry's ads. That is a upscale razor blade seller. And then there are specialty razor sellers now for women, for various minority groups, where people are laser focusing instead of on the broad market, on narrower markets. If you, as a creature of habit, just buy whatever Gillette puts on the shelf, I can tell you if you're price sensitive, you're throwing huge money away. If you are not happy with the shave you're getting from the Gillette blades, look at all the alternatives that are available in the marketplace that may, in fact, get you a better shave at the equivalent price, maybe even lower than what you're paying now to Gillette. Just because you've always bought Gillette, it's not Clark smart to keep doing that without looking at what other choices there are in the market. Josh is with us. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the Clark Howard Show.
Hey, Clark. How's it going?
Great, thank you. So you got a question for your fiance. What's the scoop?
Yes, I do, actually. So my fiance just got involved with selling some skincare products. And when she first started, she was super happy about it. And she was just super excited about it just because she's just a really excited person. And she can really get people inspired if she also feels inspired about something as well. And
she sounds like a natural-born saleswoman.
Yeah, I mean, she is. She's real. And it's not that she's trying to sell stuff. It's more along the lines of that she's just trying to get everybody involved in something that she cares about. You know. Well,
again, the best salespeople are people who have that enthusiasm and have a belief in what they're doing.
Right. Exactly. And then so she has this excitement, and then I come along and I'm more straightforward, and I like to do research on things. And so I started researching the skincare product, And I find some negative things about it, and I bring that up to her, and I kind of crush her a little bit just because she had never even thought about the negative side of what this skincare product company could be doing, or what they could be trying to do. And so I've just been thinking, and then I'm like, I really want you to still do it, but I just want you to be smart about it, and I don't want you to do anything that is going to, I just don't want you to take advantage of.
Josh, I had no idea that when we started this phone call that I would be giving you marital advice, premarital counseling. You should just be her cheerleader on this.
Okay.
Because she believes in it. She loves the product. She uses them herself. The outlay of cash for her to be involved is tiny. And so let her run with that enthusiasm. This isn't a scam. This organization is not a scam. They have a real line of products. It is very rare that somebody makes any real money selling the products. But if she is excited about it, let her be excited.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. That's great advice.
You don't want to be the one, when you say that I'm sure it's one of the things that attracted you to her in the first place is that she has this innate joy and enthusiasm.
Yeah. I mean, just the honesty and just her all around, just like light,
Yeah. So you need to go to her and say, I'm really sorry. I should not have thrown any cold water on this. If she was coming to you for advice and it was something where there was a big financial issue at stake, and then, she's really asking for feedback, give it. But in this case, I would zip those lips and just be her cheerleader all the way.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Clark.
Okay. Take her some flowers.
Okay.
Clark Howard, marital advice. All right, Jim is with us on the Clark Howard Show. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Clark. How are you?
Great, thank you. Jim, you have a nearly impossible scenario you want to present to me. You're going to New York City.
Yeah, that is correct. And we're looking to rent a car for 5 days. And
in Manhattan or in?
Yeah, actually in Manhattan, yeah. So, but we're going to actually drive around, not going to just stay in New York, but, we're looking to drive around, and all the places I find end up being, close to $200 a day.
All right, so New York has something known as a vicarious liability law. And what you need to know about that is the crazy statute they have in New York is if you rent a car or a van or anything in the state of New York at LaGuardia Airport or in the city or whatever, the rental agency is faced with all kinds of extra liability. Even though you might cause a problem, they, being the people with the deeper pockets, can get eaten up. It is usually a lot cheaper to cross the Hudson River to take what's known as the PATH train. One of you go across on the PATH train to New Jersey and rent a vehicle in New Jersey that you then are under contract as a New Jersey rental, and then you can drive it in New York, in the boroughs, in Manhattan. But do you know how hard it is to park a vehicle in Manhattan?
I've heard it's bad.
And I don't find driving in Manhattan bad at all. I've driven in a lot of cities around the country, and especially overseas, that are much more difficult to drive in than New York. But what kind of things are you shuttling people around for that you want a van instead of even doing like an Uber car?
We're actually going to go up upstate New York and kind of do some traveling after we spend some time in Manhattan. So it's
well, my suggestion would be to wait to rent anything till you're going to leave New York City itself. And again, one of you sacrifice part of your day by going to New Jersey to get it, and that you don't have that vehicle till it's time to go upstate.
Will it be that much of a savings going to New Jersey? I mean, what
well, there are many times that I've experienced, because I travel to New York a lot for work and then go to visit affiliates in Connecticut and go to meetings in upstate New York. And I go all around the tri-state area, and it's not at all unusual that a vehicle rental in New Jersey will be 1/3 the cost of a vehicle rental at LaGuardia Airport or at Kennedy.
Wow. Okay.
So it won't happen every time, but you should shop that way. And again, consider waiting to get that vehicle till you're actually ready to go upstate. Hope you have a great time. And do I say your name Corinne? Is that how I say your name?
Karen.
Karen, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was actually calling to inquire as to any advice you could give me with regards to pet insurance. I had my 7-year-old dog to the vet yesterday, and the bill was rather expensive. And they had some brochures in the vet's office about pet insurance. I was just looking for some guidance or advice as to whether or not it would be worth it.
I can only go by the analysis that Consumer Reports did, and they felt strongly that pet insurance was not a wise purchase.
Oh, okay.
They did the math where there are always going to be rare circumstances where someone will say, oh, I'm so lucky, I'm so glad I had pet insurance. I paid this much in premium and gave me such a big benefit. But the reality is, when Consumer Reports looked at the policies, they looked at 9 different ones.
Okay.
There was not a single one that paid out more than what the premiums would be.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Consumer Reports was so strident that pet insurance is not a good purchase.
Okay. Even for a dog that's considered, she's only 7, but she's actually considered a senior in the vet's eyes.
Well, senior, what is it? Dog years? So that's a 49-year-old dog?
Yeah, and she actually had to have a whole senior wellness profile with the blood work and all this other stuff, and I'm thinking, oh, my goodness.
Oh, this reminds me of, because of managed care, when a people facility in Los Angeles converted to an animal facility because they could make more money treating animals than treating people. But the overall numbers say you're best off paying out of your pocket. It's the anecdotal thing you're bringing up. Well, my dog's likely to need this, and this, and it's going to cost all that. And so there are people, it's like with the extended warranties. I'm sorry to refer to an animal and electronics in the same sentence, but it's like the electronics warranties on a TV where somebody says, I'm so glad I didn't listen to you, Clark. I bought that extended warranty and it paid off with a brand new TV for me, and I would have lost so much money if I listened to you. There are always the rare exceptions, but the math overall says don't buy the warranty. And in your case, don't buy the pet insurance.
Yeah, it makes sense because I looked at some of the brochures, and it can be about the lower price ones are almost $20 a month.
Which actually is not an enormous amount of money versus the cost of a single vet visit. But over time, you take the premiums and the payout, and the math is not in your favor. The Clark-rageous moment is a very important part of the Clark Howard Show because it's an opportunity for me to warn you away from potential scams, to keep you from losing your money, because once it's lost, let me tell you, it is so hard to ever get it back.
Scams, ripoffs, outrages. It's a Clark-rageous moment.
All over cable TV, you'll see these ripoff ads for reverse mortgages. Reverse mortgages are something that is a poison product that what it promises is that instead of you paying for your house each month, your house pays you. In its simplest form, it can be a worthwhile solution for a small segment of people that are house rich, cash poor. Has very high costs to get into, but the problem has been that it's been so well documented by the New York Post is that there are a lot of dirty dealing, crooked players in reverse mortgages that use them as a way to strip you of the equity in your home and, in fact, to take your home from you, to foreclose on the elderly so they can take your home and make a quick score. The key with reverse mortgages is that a reverse mortgage is something that should require you to go through financial and housing counseling first to let you fully know what you're getting into and what the consequences would be. You need to know something about the company that you would actually be doing the reverse mortgage with. And know that a lot of times when people get into trouble with a reverse mortgage, it's when they're not taking out a plain vanilla one. Plain vanilla reverse mortgage would be, let's say your mom and dad have paid off their home. All they have to live on is Social Security. They're really short of money each month. They just can't make ends meet. They don't care if you or your siblings inherit the house. So what they would do is they would take out a reverse mortgage that sends them a check every month against the value of the home and their expected lifespan. That would be a legit reverse mortgage. Almost 100% of the problems are happening with reverse mortgages that involve some form of cash out at time of completion of the paperwork. And so the crooked lenders give you the cash out and then come up with a reason to steal your home. This is a very dangerous area and one that you need to be careful of if you are in the position, or you as adult children. Be nosy, know what's going on with your parents, and be there to keep them out of harm's way if necessary. When you were a kid, they kept you out of harm's way. Now the shoe's on the other foot. You need to step up to the plate.
Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans proudly supports this podcast. Rocket Mortgage brings the mortgage approval process into the 21st century. It's fast, powerful, and completely online. You see, Rocket Mortgage has taken all the complicated, time-consuming parts of applying for a mortgage out of the equation. Hate searching through stacks of old files and paperwork? Well, with Rocket Mortgage, you can easily share your bank statements and pay stubs at the touch of a button. It helps you get approved in minutes for a custom mortgage solution that's been tailored to your unique financial situation. Even better, with Rocket Mortgage, you can do all of this on your phone or tablet. It's a quick online process that you can manage from the convenience of your couch. So if you're looking to refinance your mortgage or buy a home, check out Rocket Mortgage today at quickenloans.com/save. That's quickenloans.com/SAVE. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
I'm glad you joined us here on the Clark Howard Show, where it's all about you learning ways to keep more of what you make. I need to address something straight on that comes up a lot on our message boards at clark.com. I've had 3 calls. Things come in threes, right? That's an old wives' tale. But anyway, I've had 3 calls recently from people who had their homeowners insurance canceled, or what the industry calls non-renewed, following a claim. So I want to address how you should look at homeowners insurance. The key is that when you are putting an insurance policy on your home, the purpose of that policy is not to pay for little piddly things. The purpose of that policy is to pay for a catastrophe. Now, different people define a catastrophe differently. And what is a catastrophic loss for one person could be very different than for another. But let me tell you the way it plays with homeowners insurance. If you make, let's say you've been with a company 20 years, and then you have a run of bad luck and you make 2 small claims with that homeowner's insurance over a couple of years, let's say $700 this time, $900 the next time, something like that. The next thing you're going to notice is that all those decades you've been with them mean nothing. You're fired. You're out of there. You're gone. But it's not just that they get rid of you. They then put a report card out called a clue report that other insurers don't want to touch you. You have a scarlet letter as far as the insurance industry is concerned. And so I want you to approach your homeowner's insurance with a whole different way of thinking about it than maybe you have through the years, because this problem has only escalated. And that is that you raise the deductible on your homeowner's insurance as high as you can stand, or if you have a mortgage on your home, as high as your mortgage lender will permit. It means that if you have a loss up to that amount of money, you are writing the check out of your own money, out of your own pocket. And you're like, why do I have insurance anyway? Well, the idea is if you raise your deductible, your premiums every year are going to be lower anyway. You're going to avoid making smaller claims. And then if something really terrible happens and you have a major claim against your home, that is unavoidable to make the claim, and you use it for that. But it's kind of like the thing that's come up. Do you remember hearing this on our show about how the auto insurers, some of them are being really, really dishonest with you, and they're sending you a thing or trying to get you to get roadside assistance from them? So your car breaks down on the side of the road, you have a flat tire, so you think, oh, it's so great, I have this from my auto insurer, and you call, and you get the tow, or you get the flat changed or whatever, and then the next thing you get a notice from your auto insurer that they're increasing your premiums for you having made a claim for roadside assistance. So they didn't offer roadside assistance to be your buddy. They offered it as a gotcha so they could charge you more money and then put it on your clue report for auto to make it difficult for you to go to any other company. Now, I know I'm painting a broad brush of an entire industry. Not every player in the auto or homeowners insurance business is out to play dirty pool with you. But this is a real concern because it happens to so many people. So just remember, think once, twice, 3 times before you make a claim. And if you're in a position where you can afford to deal with the deductible that you would take on that's a higher one against auto or homeowners, get it done. Linda's with us on the Clark Howard Show. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Linda, you had something happen you want to run by me. Tell me.
Yes, I wanted to let you know about this and the listeners. I received a call yesterday, and when I picked it up, it was one of these recordings. It was a very thick accent that I didn't recognize, and he stated he was from the IRS, Internal Revenue Service, and that I or my attorney must call him back at a given number, and if I didn't, I might be sorry, and they hung up. I knew immediately it couldn't be real. I've had the opportunity of communicating with the IRS, and it's always...
Wait. I loved how you said that. You've had the opportunity.
So anyway, I did do a reverse search on the number and found that it was not coming from Washington, D.C., and it didn't have an owner listed to the number. So anyway, I called the number back, and it sounded like the same voice said, Internal Revenue Service. And I said, where are you located, please? And he goes, this is the Internal Revenue. I said, yes, but where are you located? And he hung up. So that was just further information that let me know this was a scam. And I did want to share it with you because I hope no one is calling this number back and answering questions about personal information.
So, Linda, let me tell you how this is playing out. This is a very, very hot scam right now across the country. And people are getting calls, and the individuals that are pretending to be from the IRS are very, very aggressive in the phone calls. And they threaten that you are about to be arrested for tax fraud. And the individual realized pretty quickly that you were too savvy to be conned out of money. But if this individual had thought you were an easy mark, they would have proceeded to tell you about the warrants for your arrest and all this stuff. But there was a way for you to avoid arrest. Guess what it would be?
Give personal information?
No.
Send a check?
No.
Credit card.
It would be for you to either go to a wiring facility and wire money, or to go to a place like Walmart or whatever and buy what's known as a green dot card. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
It's similar to prepaid cards. And when you give someone the information on the account, they can then empty all the money from that account. So they con you, Linda, into saying, you give us $600 right now and you'll not be arrested, or whatever story it is they concoct, and however much money they think they can steal from you. And most often, they're doing it with these prepaid cards.
Wow.
Or wiring. So I have not read anywhere in the country that these phony IRS calls are engaged in identity theft. They're more immediate. They're just trying to steal money right from you.
Wow.
So I'm glad that you knew there was a con going on, and I'm glad you brought this up so that others will know what the con actually is. So do you know when the IRS would actually call you up and demand payment right that second?
No, I don't.
Never.
That's what I thought.
So anytime anybody gets a supposed IRS person who's demanding payment that second, you know that they're hoodlums, they're criminals just trying to steal from you. And again, thank you for being aware enough that somebody was trying to steal from you and then taking the time to share that with your fellow listener. Rick is with us on the Clark Howard Show. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Clark. How you doing?
Great, thank you. Rick, how can I be of service to you?
Well, I've got a car that's got 342,000 miles on it.
No way. Congratulations.
Yes. And I've had it since it was new. And
how many years old is that?
It's 9 years old. So, and I'm...
Wait. You drive 40,000 miles a year?
Yeah. I cover the Southeast.
So 40,000 miles a year, you never actually sleep. All your meals have to be through drive-thrus because you have to stay on the road.
I do get a stop once in a while and eat at a restaurant.
Okay.
But I am on the road a lot.
I'm guessing you are.
But anyway, it's starting to have some issues. And instead of putting the money into it, I was looking to salvage it. And so I went online and found a company, and I logged in, and I get this offer immediately for $600. But then they want me to send a copy of my driver's license, copy of the front and back of the title with my signature on it, and my address. And so I just...
Well, that in and of itself would not make this a scam or a con. The bigger issue is what you're being offered for your vehicle is, even with the miles on it, is way too low. In fact, while you've been talking, Krista apparently has information on what model you have, and just ran what private party would be for the miles you have. It would be $3,200.
Oh, really?
Yeah, trade-in would be somewhere around $1,700. So them offering you $600, and that's with an adjustment for the enormous miles you have on it.
Okay, because there's about $3,000 worth of work that's going to need to be done on it.
Well, the only way you can really have a sense is car dealers love buying cars from people, even if they're not buying a car from them.
Well, CarMax offered me $200.
Okay, well, if CarMax offered you $200, they were offering it only because it has no market value for them. It's too old for them, too many miles for them, and they're just doing it since they offer to buy any car. They were basically offering you salvage.
Oh, okay.
What I would do is I would go to dealers that sell, as new car dealers, sell your brand and see what they offer you.
All right.
But $200 is that's how the junk car business works, where they just take your car to a place, they take off whatever parts are salvageable, and then they crush it for the value of the metal?
Well, that's what I figured it was worth with the number of miles on it and the repairs that were going to be needed. So, but I didn't, when, you know, I've had identity theft and it took me a while. So when someone asked for my information,
you were always right to question and be suspicious.
Yeah.
But the value of the vehicle, that's where I want you to spend your time trying to figure out with, because the people who would be most interested possibly in having your vehicle are dealers that specialize in that brand. And if it turns out it's not worth anything and the values that Krista found are completely crazy, you were right before you proceed to do more checking before you give up the personal information you've been asked for by the people who offered you the $600. Follow me at facebook.com/Clark Howard. Our web address, clark.com. When you got a question for me, go clark.com/ask. Robin's with us on the Clark Howard Show. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Robin, you got a new credit card.
Not yet. I'm waiting to talk to you first.
Okay, let me hear.
Okay, so I have an old card that I've been using with an annual fee, and I have a new card that I'd like to get, which has a little bit of a higher annual fee, but does more for me than the original card I have. So basically what the question is, I'd like to close the original one. I won't be using it. Would I be able to do that if the new card that I get has a credit line which is equal to or greater than the one I would want to close?
So you're going through life with a single credit card?
No, we have several, not several. We have a few personal, we have a few business. I try to generally just use one for each and pay them off every month.
Okay. So the card that you've had that you want to dump, I have an alternative for you because you will pinch your score a little bit with the application for the new card.
Okay.
And you'll pinch your score some more by eliminating the available credit that comes with the annual fee card that you want to dump.
Okay.
A lot of issuers will offer you the option of a card that's less rewarding, that is annual fee free, in place of one that has an annual fee.
Right, but I ended up researching this one, and this one, it would be a really good card.
No. Let me explain. So you get the new card you want with the higher annual fee, but the old one, because the question you asked me is, should you dump the old one when you get the new one?
I see what you're saying. I already tried that.
Oh, and they won't let you morph it into a non-annual fee card?
No, because what they're saying is that this is a partner card, and when it's a partner card, they can't do anything about it.
Okay. So if you told me that the only card you had was the one with an annual fee that you're going to replace with the other card with an annual fee, I'd tell you to keep both cards till you get another card. But in this case, you have multiple cards. Once you've secured the new card, close the old one.
Close the old one. So you're saying then it will be okay and it won't end up hurting. Although
it will pinch your score, but not anything that would be particularly devastating because you have the other cards with the other lines of credit.
Okay, now this might put a little bit of a tweak into your answer, because what I did realize is the card is actually in my husband's name as a primary, and I think he's only got one card like that. The other ones he's on like as a co-signer that I put him on, you know, once we were married and whatnot. But I think this is the only one that he's actually on as the primary.
So here's how you'd get to the answer to that. There's a website you can go to that's free to use called annualcreditreport.com. And he can pull copies of his credit report for free once each year. He should pull at least one of his reports and see what is listing as his credit.
Okay.
If the only card listed is his credit,
then keep it.
Is this one? Then definitely you do not want to close it.
Okay. I mean, can you annual credit what?
Annualcreditreport.com.
Okay.
And there will be times the credit bureaus on annualcreditreport.com will try to sell you junk. Don't buy anything from him.
Okay.
Just get his free credit report and see what's on there. And if he's showing multiple cards reflecting against his credit, then rest easy. You can close that account. Otherwise, don't rest easy. Don't close that account.
And just pay the fee each year.
Right.
Okay.
And then at some point, he can get another card that has no annual fee. Once he's got that, he can close the annual fee card.
Okay. Good to know.
I hope the new card works out great for you.
Yep, I think it will.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay.
You know, when you're going to buy a car, pricing information is great and necessary, but there's more to doing it than just the price. There's the actual buying experience. If you want to enjoy a better one, you should go to a True Car certified dealer. They're there to help you find the car that you want, and they're also what make True Car unique. With True Car, you can connect with a local certified dealer that you choose, so you can lock in a guaranteed savings off the MSRP and enjoy a totally better buying experience. And by better, they also mean faster. Over 2 million cars have already been sold to True Car users who have visited their True Car certified dealer. And there are over 11,000 True Car certified dealers nationwide, so it's probably pretty easy to find one near you. And check this, for a new car, average True Car users save $3,279 off MSRP. All right, so you're probably wondering, how do I do this? It's easy. Just go to TrueCar.com or, right there on your phone, download the TrueCar app. You can find the car you want, see the TrueCar pricing curve, which shows you what other people in your area paid for the same car, and that way you can know you're getting a good price and feel confident. Then you'll get a guaranteed savings certificate from the TrueCar certified dealer. Go to the dealer, and your guaranteed savings off MSRP will be honored, and you enjoy a quick, easy experience. How's that for car buying? So when you're ready to buy a new car, or even a used one, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app and enjoy the better car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states.
Welcome to the Clark Howard Show, where it's about you learning ways to keep more of what you make. Our web address, clark.com, C-L-A-R-K. When you have a question for me, clark.com/ask. Coming up in a half hour, a lot of tempting offers coming in the mail right now, offering you big cash bonuses if you'll check out a new bank. I'm going to tell you what the gotchas are in those cash bonus offers. I'm seeing stories, and I think it fits the tone of the times, that people have a significant layer of insecurity after the extreme trauma we went through last decade with the housing bust. First the bubble, then the bust. And it's taken a long time for a lot of people to right their financial ships from the stormy seas that occurred with the housing bust. There was nothing equivalent to it in housing ownership in prior American history, where values were escalating at enormous amounts or percents per year, and all with borrowed money, people able to buy houses not proving income, no money down, even for quote-unquote investor property, and we know how it all ended. Most places in the country, fortunately, things have recovered. There are still some that recovery is in progress, but for the most part, things are healthy again in the housing market. If anything, going back to what I've been reading, there are people speculating on whether a new housing bubble has started. A new housing bubble is not underway. You know why? Because this time, people actually have equity in their homes. Average equity amount in the United States, by one measure, $150,000. Now, if you're someone who has 10 cents equity in your home, you're like, who are those people? They have $150,000 equity. But that is the average in the country, according to a research study done by the Urban Institute. But here's a stat that Credit.com had that was fantastic. Roughly somewhere close to 40%, a little less than 40% of people, but just a hair under, own their homes free and clear. People who have a home, as they say, buying a home with a mortgage. Nearly 40% of people who live in their own home don't write a check to a mortgage company each month. They own it. Zero debt. Of the remainder, people have a different attitude born out of the experience of last decade. And so people go in with generally a meaningful down payment and then pay on that debt. And that is absolutely fantastic. You know, we are in a situation where there are markets in the country that housing is outrageous. I was reading a story about the San Francisco Bay Area and people now that are commuting 2.5 hours each way to work. Can you imagine 5 hours a day of commuting to get to a house price that you can afford for your family? But it is not a bubble. The reality is, in the San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley, there are all kinds of impediments to construction, and I'm not talking about the government interference kind of stuff. Mountains, water, natural constraints on construction that have forced people inland where land is more plentiful and natural physical obstacles are not an issue. So it is a big decision to buy a home, and home prices probably are pushed up a little bit by today's low mortgage rates because they create a sense in people's minds that the house is more affordable, which it is in essence with the monthly payment. And there may be a little bit of indigestion when interest rates on mortgages eventually do rise to more historical normal levels, whatever year or decade that is. But don't fret and don't fear that housing is going to be another bust. That's not going to happen. Sandy's with us. Sandy, how are you?
I'm fine, Clark. How are you doing?
Wonderful, Sandy. You are actually at a time in your life that can be a tough transition, aren't you?
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
How are you holding up?
Day by day.
Okay.
Day by day. I'm in the situation where my retirement was through my husband, and I do not have retirement with my current employer. I've been with them for 16 years, and I do have a small amount of money, and I know that you talk about the Roth IRAs, but I know the cap on that for me, I believe, is $6,000 for the year, and I don't know what to do with the other amount of money.
Okay. Let's go back like 3 steps if we could.
Okay.
You said to me up front, so are you separated or are you divorced at this point?
We are separated at this point.
Okay. You said that your retirement was through your husband, meaning that your husband has been working at a place that he's had a 401k or something and all the money was going into his retirement account?
Correct. Yes,
all right.
He had a good retirement. He has a great retirement program.
All right. Now, I am not a lawyer, but I want to give you guidance that I want you to make sure that you bring this question to your attorney.
Okay.
You know that in most jurisdictions, you are entitled to what's known as an equitable distribution, which means that a significant portion of your husband's retirement money should be in play as money that would be available for you in a division of property.
Okay.
So have you already reached an agreement, or are you just separated at this point?
At this point, we're just separated.
All right.
He told me he no longer wants to be married. So.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Sandy. So
yeah,
the money that is in his retirement account, it is now equitable does not mean equal, but often the spouse who did not have a retirement account will be awarded, or it will be negotiated that you would get some significant amount of that, could be even half of that money.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
And in that case, it changes some about how we would talk about the question about how you arrange your finances moving forward, because
Correct.
you would normally be, when that is done by the court or by an agreement that then is certified by the court, you are allowed to take, let's say it's just for argument's sake, it's split in half, and half of the proceeds of the 401k go to you. It is a non-taxable event with the money going into your own IRA.
Okay.
And that is something that, have you sought legal counsel yet?
I have not.
All right.
Have not. I basically was thinking just moving on and not going for anything.
No way. No way. Not a chance. I know.
I guess I'm afraid that he'll come. The $30,000 that I do have is from a sale of a previous house that I had before coming into the marriage.
But how much money do you think is, assets that existed prior to the marriage are, in most states, stay as the property of the individual that came into the marriage with that money. Okay. And in your state, we've just verified that's true too, Sandy. Now, how much money would you guesstimate is in your husband's retirement account?
I'm not sure.
All right. Sandy, I got something to say to you right now, and I hope I'm not stepping on your feelings.
Okay.
In a situation where a divorce is going to occur, women generally look at it as an emotional process. Men more typically and generally will look at it as a financial process. 2 years out, women tend to realize, I should have looked at this as a financial process just like he was doing.
Okay.
Because I heard in you the emotional hurt that is absolutely natural that you would feel it. How long were the two of you married?
8 years.
8 years. And I hear the sadness in you right as I asked you that question. So if you can, I need for you to if you can, have almost an outer body experience, if you'll excuse that expression, where you treat dealing with your emotional health as you need to with a counselor or whatever process would work best for you, but you separate and you deal. Women are very good multitaskers. We as guys stink as multitaskers. If you will divide this where you treat the financial side as a business transaction and treat the emotional as something that you're going to get the counseling that you need, you will end up in much better shape in both those categories.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
I would talk, if you have any contemporaries who have been through a divorce, who had a lawyer, they were happy with how they were represented by him or her, I would like for you to go do a consult with a couple of, you can either call them family practice or divorce lawyers, and get with the right help in your corner.
Okay.
Because what I heard you say is this is irreconcilable. He's gone. He's not coming back.
No, he's not. This is the second time he's done this.
Okay.
I took him back once.
And this is 2 strikes, you're out. You know it's done this time.
Yes.
Please.
Absolutely.
Please hire a lawyer to represent you. Also, there's a guide that we're going to direct you to that will explain to you how in your state, by statute, division of assets are generally supposed to go. So you won't have the fear you had that, well, if I fight him on this, he's going to come take that.
Yeah, exactly.
So hang on just a minute, and we're going to give you reference to that material so that you're in a position to understand, stepping back again from the emotional side, just looking at the actual reality of what you're entitled to and what he's entitled to in terms of the stuff and money, so that you are working from a position of strength, not weakness.
Okay.
And Sandy, I want to wish you the best, and please understand that once you do get through this, you will heal steadily over time. Not every day will be better than the prior day. It's more like an EKG where it goes up and down, your emotions.
Exactly.
But you will heal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You hold on just a second. Follow me at facebook.com/Clark Howard. Our web address, clark.com. When you got a question for me, go clark.com/ask. Karen is with us. Hello, Karen. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you, Clark?
Great, thank you. You are looking at something that pays better than 0.00% on your savings. Is that right?
Yes, I recently sold a house, and I don't know whether I'm going to buy another one right away. So I wanted to maybe put it in a CD. I don't want it in anything risky. And it's to the tune of about $200,000 we're talking about.
So right now, the interest rate you can earn on a CD is absolutely pitiful. Only 1.25%. Have you been looking around at all?
Yes.
You know, we have a tool on clarkhoward.com that you can see the best rates in the country. It's something we do at Bank Rate.
Right.
So with you not knowing what you're doing next, you have to suffer through that. There is no other alternative. There is no investment you can do when you don't know how soon you're going to need the money and you don't want to take a chance of losing any of the money.
Right.
So you just got to park it.
Okay.
That's not what you want to hear, is it?
No.
But you wouldn't want me to recommend something and then...
Yes, and a jumbo CD versus a regular CD.
Well, a jumbo, it depends on the issuer. Usually a jumbo is $100,000 or more.
Okay.
But what I would recommend is we don't know which way interest rates are going. At some point they're going up, right? But we don't know when.
Right.
I would take your money and divide it in two and put half the money in a 1-year CD and the other half in a simple savings account. You'll earn a roughly equivalent interest rate. You'll earn right now, in a savings account, you'll earn, the best in the country is right at 1%. So you take half, earn 1%. The other half, you earn 1.1. But with the idea being that if interest rates do move up, you have that money available to then put into a CD at a higher rate that's in the money market or the savings account.
Well, I've got it all in a money market right now, and that's at 0.35.
Yeah, that's rotten. So you can step it up from the 0.35, but it's not like it's going to be money that's going to be a pile of cash. It'll just be a little bit more earned on the money.
Right. But you don't suggest tying it up any more than a year? Definitely
not, because with interest rates being as depressed as they are, you wouldn't want to be in, let's say, a 5-year CD because you can earn whatever. What happens if in a year you say, hey, you know, I want to buy another home? And your money's tied up. So this is a case where with interest rates being so uncertain but eventually going up, that you split the baby and half goes into floating savings rates and the other half goes into the 1-year CD. But with both, you'll earn more than what you're getting paid right now at 0.35, which is amazingly low, isn't it?
Stay tuned for 60 seconds of AP News headlines right after this podcast.
I'm glad you're with us on the Clark Howard Show, where it's about you learning ways to save more and spend less, and don't let anybody ever rip you off. Our web address is clark.com. I'm really proud of clark.com. Hey, do you know that we have a deal site? You want to see the latest bargains? Clark Deals is there for you at clark.com, and you can see all kinds of ways that you can stretch every dollar. One thing that appears to be a deal and may not be at all are these bonus offers that are coming in the mail, and I don't know if this makes me lucky or unlucky. I get quite a few of these from a variety of banks saying, hey, come open an account with us and we'll give you a cash bonus of $100, $200, $300. The highest I've gotten is $400. I should have brought some of them in. I shred them. I should have brought some in, though, and read to you the come-ons on the outside of the envelopes about, just be our buddy and we'll be yours and give you this money. But the problem with these bonus offers is that unless you can jump through the right hoops, the bonus money they've offered you comes with enough strings that by the time you have met the minimum amount of time to be a customer of that bank, you will probably paid equal to or more in fees than what the bonuses are that they're dangling in front of you. Do you know that the giant monster mega banks routinely charge you $300 a year to have a checking account? There are things you can do to get the $300 a year fee waived, but that's typically what it costs, charged at a monthly fee of $25 or so a month. That was kind of redundant to say monthly fee of $25 or so a month, but that's a lot of money to pay for them to warehouse your money and lend it out to other people and make money from lending it out, to charge you that kind of money. So the bonus is to lure you in, get you hooked to them, get you what's called being a sticky. They call it in banking that, if you go to a restaurant, you don't really like the restaurant, you don't go back, right? But if you have a miserable experience at a bank, people don't necessarily dump the bank till they've been beaten around a lot because there's some hassle factor in changing banks. So they figure it's well worth it to offer you the cash bonus for you becoming a customer, because then they got you hooked, they got their claws into you, and then they can charge you all their nuisance fees and monthly fees. So just know, before you take up a bank on one of these offers, make sure you can easily qualify for fee waivers. Typically, the fee waivers are in place if you have big money to put into the place. Not a lot of people have that. Or some institutions will allow you simply by having direct deposit of your paycheck will allow a waiver of the monthly fee, or any of a number of strategies where you might avoid being feed to death. But if you cannot see your way through to that happening, do what I do, shred those offers. Joel joins us on the Clark Howard Show. Hi, Joel. How are you?
I'm very well, Clark. How are you?
Great, thank you. What's going on, Joel?
Well, actually, I just want to let you know maybe a very nice story about an airline as opposed to the normal ugly stories you hear.
Well, good. Tell your story, because it is
Okay.
great to hear a positive story.
Well, I've been undergoing some pretty serious medical conditions last year, and this year I was diagnosed with bladder cancer last year.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And then I had prostate cancer earlier this year. So I kind of get the double whammy.
Joel.
But all is well, thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Great.
Well, looks good. So well, in fact, that we're going to be heading out to Wyoming with our daughters and their children later on in about 2 weeks. And that's kind of what this story is all about, is that last year we had made reservations for the same ranch and had made reservations through United Airlines to fly us to Denver, and then we were going to drive from there on up to Wyoming. And then I was diagnosed with this cancer, and a couple of surgeries interfered with my plans, so we put everything on hold and made plans to come back again this year. I didn't make any new airline reservations because we weren't sure exactly what dates. So then this year, earlier, we made reservations again with the ranch, and then decided to make airline reservations. But first I had to go through some additional tests for the hospital. And it came back then that I was then diagnosed with prostate cancer and had to undergo about 2 months of radiation therapy. So it all worked out that by the time I finished all that, I was about to go back to work. And I realized I hadn't made the appropriate reservations within the 1 year time frame they give you to make new reservations. So I scrambled around, contacted United, and they told me that when I submitted refund applications online, they told me that I was too late. I was 1 day late for my to get it resolved.
1 day late?
1 day late, yeah. And anyway, I talked to a person, that customer at that time, no service, and supervisor. But then I decided to send an email to an executive at United Airlines. Went out to the internet and found a gentleman who was the vice chairman and chief revenue officer, and sent him an email as well as a hard copy letter explaining the situation to him. I put on my email if I'd be notified as soon as he read it. And this was on a Sunday afternoon, and he read it within an hour of the time I sent it to him. And the next morning, his secretary called me with 7 coupons for round-trip airfare, United. So,
okay, that never happens. Wow. You got to be impressed with that. And who is that? Jim Compton? Is that who it was at United?
It certainly is. And he, as a matter of fact, I've had some follow-up emails with him. And he mentioned that he and you had talked. You had interviewed him back in the late 90s.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really class act and a great guy.
Certainly is. I mean, I haven't talked to him personally, but the secretary was very warm and understanding, and I was just incredibly impressed and moved by the fact that he reacted that positively and that quickly. So,
and the humanity of that. I mean, your story is, I'm just sitting here feeling so terrible about what you've been through in the last year, and you have such a positive attitude. And now your family gets to take this wonderful trip, and it's all because one person cared. You didn't take customer no services answer for it.
No, and I was just so totally overwhelmed and very good by his compassion and his understanding and his humanity, as you said.
Well, that is great to hear, and I hope that the word gets back to Jim that you mentioned him on the air, because he is a decent guy.
Good.
So congratulations and continued good luck with your health.
Thank you so much, Clark.
Okay, best to you. Mark is with us. Hello, Mark. I'm glad you've joined us on the Clark Howard Show. How you doing, Mark?
Hi, Clark. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, I'm glad. And Mark, you have a question for me no one has asked me in a long time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I recently purchased a new vehicle, and, of course, I financed part of that purchase price through a major loan company, and they sent me a letter telling me that I have about 6 different ways that I can make a payment to them each month. And one of the options was called automatic loan payment, where they will directly pull money out of my checking account or savings account, whichever I prefer. And I was wondering if that was a good idea or not. I'm a little hesitant about having someone's hands inside my account, but
that's because you're a really smart guy. You do not want to give them that access unless there's only one unless. Ready?
Okay.
Are they offering you a 1/4 point lower interest rate if you allow them to draft your account?
No, nothing like that.
If they're not offering you any cut on your loan payment or interest rate in return for allowing the draft, don't do it. Because what happens is when you authorize that draft, you then give them the ability whenever they want, for whatever amount they want, to come in and take money from your account. And what's happened way too often with the car loans is that when you finish paying off the car loan, or if you trade it in, or whatever happens, they will keep drafting you from your account even after you've already satisfied the terms of the loan. And it's very, very hard to turn that off, because the way those agreements are written for the automatic draft, they have pretty much blanket ability to come in your account at will.
Now, I do follow this same procedure for a couple of other bills that I have, like my TV and internet provider and my car insurance. Is that a bad idea as well?
So let me give you a distinction with a difference. If you allow an automatic charge on a credit card, that is okay because you have certain rights under credit card laws that do not exist when you give somebody the ability to draft your checking account or savings account. So if these are drafts of a checking account, I would prefer that you not allow you said you have pay TV doing that right now?
Yeah, my TV bill and my car and home insurance.
It is. I will tell you, of the things that you can be drafted for, insurance is the most common with the least number of calls I get about problems. But doing it for cable TV or something like that, with all the problems I hear from people with pay TV companies, I would be really reluctant to allow them to draft your checking account.
Well, you kind of confirmed my gut feelings on that. I appreciate your advice.
And do you like your new car?
Well, actually, I'm having it converted for a wheelchair ramp, so I'm not actually using it yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to take me a while, but I'm probably going to have this car for 15 years or more, I bet.
Wow, you're my kind of guy, keeping a car till the wheels fall off. We're going to speak with David right now on the Clark Howard Show. Hi, David.
Hey, Clark, how are you this afternoon?
Great, thank you, David. How can I serve you?
Well, I've got a quick question for you. My wife and I are both 31, been listening to you for several years now, which is why we're in the position we're in. But anywho, we're debt-free from student loan and credit card debt. Our cars are paid off. The only outstanding debt we have is our mortgage payment. We net about $75,000 a year between the two of us, and we're just in the position to start saving for retirement. Right now, we have about 10 months of liquid savings to cover our entire cost of living should, we suffer a job loss or something like that. But we've got about $1,000 a month extra that we're trying to figure out what to do with besides just put into into a savings account. So we're looking to start planning for retirement, and I'm kind of lost as to, there's so many things where I'm just spinning around, like, do we start building a Roth IRA until it reaches like a lump sum before we start looking at other investments, or, really what direction do we go to make this money work for us 30 years from now?
All right, so great question. So neither of you have a retirement plan available to you where you work?
No, we do not.
Okay. Are you self-employed or working for the man?
We're working for the man, although we're both, working for independent operators. So it's kind of nice, and they take very good care of us as employees.
All right, but you're paid as employees, W-2, not 1099?
Correct.
All right. The limit on a Roth account per year per person is $5,500, total of $11,000 for the two of you, almost exactly in line with what you have in excess cash each month.
Okay.
So doing the Roth is the absolute first best choice, because you put in the money for each of you, and at the end of the line, the money that's gone in there grows tax-free. And what makes the Roth so powerful is you spend from your Roths tax-free.
Oh, so it's like turning on a drip from a bucket, and you just pull from the excess down the road?
Exactly. And Uncle Sam doesn't take any share of it.
Oh, excellent.
So I've got a guide. I don't know if you've ever seen my investment guide at clarkhoward.com. You can get to it by going clarkhoward.com/invest.
Okay.
And in 10 minutes, you and your wife can have Roth IRA accounts open. And I give choices that are really easy to start the investing cycle for each of you.
Okay.
Generally, you need $1,000 seed money for each of you to open your Roth initially.
Okay.
Some providers, it'll be $3,000, but once you have it open, you can add to it each and every month going forward. And that will soak up most of the available money you have to save. And the neat thing is, even though your 20s didn't materialize savings for retirement, in your 30s, you're going to be able to put aside an enormous amount of money.
Correct.
And you will end up creating great financial security for both of you over the years ahead.
Okay. Now, one quick side question with that. Would it benefit us more to have the maximum allowance to put in for the year and start that on, say, January 1st
Mathematically, that is true.
Okay.
Now, in the short term, mathematically, that could be ugly. As an example, there was a warning put out by the world's central bankers, I think on Friday, that stock markets around the world are overvalued right now. And yeah, they are nothing like from the dot-com bubble long ago or anything like that. But yeah, they're overvalued. So at some point, you're going to put money in, and the stock market's going to look really ugly for a while, and you're going to be like, why did I do that? But the reality is, time in the market is the most important thing. And the market has ups and downs. If you put the money in at the beginning of the year, mathematically, over time, if every January you were just to fully fund each of your Roths, I don't understand the math, but generally you'll have roughly 10% or so more money in retirement than if you divided the money out and contributed equal amounts each month over the course of the years.
Okay.
So, but either's fine. The important thing is to get the money in there.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your direction, and you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, and continued success to both of you with being nearly debt-free. Well, except for the mortgage, you are debt-free, and being such dedicated savers.
Thanks for listening to the Clark Howard Podcast. Download new episodes every Monday through Friday at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com. Stay tuned for the latest AP News headlines from Podcast One, right after this.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
AP Update, I'm Ross Simpson. The top cop in Chicago has made his recommendations after investigating officer conduct in a widely publicized and controversial 2014 shooting.
Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson is recommending that 7 police officers who were involved with the police shooting of teenager Laquan McDonald all be fired.
AP correspondent Don Babwin reports activists are praising the announcement.
They're saying that this shows the department's serious about cleaning up suspicions that have gone on for years about the department's willingness to cover up officers that behave badly, that kind of thing. Now, the police union, they obviously disagree.
Any decision to fire the officers isn't likely to come until sometime next year.
The superintendent can only recommend somebody be fired, but now it goes to the police board for a hearing and ultimately a decision by the police board, which isn't expected for months.
I'm Ross Simpson.